right, this is our well house number 3. This is a different aspect of what we do. Let's go check it out. This is where all of our water comes from. So we come in here and we check to make sure that our chemical pumps are pumping properly and making sure everything is squared away. We don't have any leaks and we don't have any issues going on in here. Basically, it's just an electric motor with a shaft that goes down in the ground, pulls the water up, heads through the water main, down in the ground, just gets dispersed throughout the system in McFarland. It's all computer basically operated. The water towers are the one that controls this. When the water towers get low enough and they feel like they need water, it goes back to the computer system up at our shop, and then it'll turn the wells on and it'll pump until it gets to the level of the towers that are full, and then they'll shut them back off. We come in, we check the hours to see how many hours it's ran. In turn, we can tell how many gallons have been pumped, and the DNR likes to know stuff like that, so we keep a pretty close track on how much water is going where. These are our chemical drums. We add fluoride and we add chlorine, and we need to make sure that we're keeping track on how much is going into the system. So in turn, we do everything by weight on the scales. So I mean, they're pretty accurate, down to the 1/10 of a pound. So yeah, I just tapped it, and that's all it does is it'll make it go up and down a little bit. We want to be as accurate as we can. It's important. So some of the things we look for is, all the tubing and the pumping, and we want to make sure there's no leaks in any of the system. Basically, it pumps out of the barrel, pumps here, runs into tubes. Tubes go up and over there, and then directly into the water main over there. When the system turns on, and the pump is called to be pumping water, the computer also will turn on the chemical feed pumps, kind of all at the same time, so that it's very accurate how much dosage we're putting in. And this piece of equipment here is a gauge, and we can measure the level of the water down at the bottom of the well. So it can tell us where the ground level water level is at when it's either pumping or it's just resting like it's resting now. It'll tell us where the water's at. During real dry times, and like if we have an extended dry time, you'll notice the water levels will drop. And when it's really wet out and we get a lot of rain, you'll notice the water levels will rise. All of the wells have this on, so that's just something that we maintain and check. Lots of little things that make it all work, that's for sure. Lots of little moving parts. We'll turn it on if you want. Let's start it up. So what you'll hear now that we've turned it on, and we have capabilities of turning it on by hand down here, just basically overrides the computer and shuts it on. Here we go. What's happening now is this system, and it's sending water back down into the fins of the pump itself to pre-lubricate it. So when it starts, there's already water on them. You'll see there'll be a chute of water that comes out of that air check valve. Then when it seals off, then the system will be running. So now we're fully functional. It gets loud at first when it starts. Like I was saying, it ramps up slow so that when that water comes up out of the ground, we don't want it to hammer the system. Something that all of our well houses have on them. There's a lot of water that comes through there. We're pumping 1,049,050 gallons a minute through here. So there's a lot of water. All your water is coming up through here now, and it's traveling right through here, and it goes right back down into the ground, out to the street, and then it's being dispersed out in the entire system. So it takes a few minutes for it to shut down. It kind of does it in reverse. Like now the chemical pumps have turned off, and it'll wind down. You'll hear it. A lot of moving parts, but it does what it's supposed to. I can show you some of the other stuff in the back room if you want to see it. There's some cool stuff in here that sometimes you can see. So this is some of our emergency equipment in here that we maintain. This is one of our generators. So like I said, when the power goes down, this is one of the generators we'll take out to the lift station and plug them in so they can continue to also pump. And we got some pumps down here. different water pumps. It'll pump a lot of water quickly. Here, this is a repair clamp. So basically the main gets broken, this gets wrapped around it, it's got a rubber coating in it, seals it up, you tighten up the bolts, and it repairs it. It's all made of stainless steel and bolts that will not rust. This is all just a whole vast variety of spare parts that we have for whatever we need to do, really. Whatever comes up, we got to go deal with it. So we need the tools to do it, and this is a lot of the stuff that we use. We've got lots of different parts for rebuilding fire hydrants because they do get run over, and so we got to be able to fix them and get them back in the system. Sometimes we just need a specific part, and that's why we keep some of this stuff here. This basically is what your fire hydrants look like when it's in the ground. The water basically comes in down here through one of those valves, and then the top of the hydrant is up there that just has the mechanisms that allow the water to be turned on and off. Unlike California or the southern states where they don't have to worry about the frost, ours has to be deep enough so they don't freeze. So that's that in a nutshell.